All right, so today, one of the things we treat is digestive issues, and most common complaints other than bowel disruption is gas, bloating, acid reflux. And there's one very simple thing that you could do to mitigate that, and that's where we kind of lead off of with everybody who's complaining about gas, bloating, and acid reflux, is to chew your food. Okay, it sounds silly, but it's the truth. Digestion starts in the mouth, and there's a mechanical process, right, of chewing. They say you should chew every bite once for every tooth in your mouth, 32 times. But also, a lot of the saliva, there's enzymes that help break down the food. But just mechanically speaking, if you think about it, if you're a scarfer, which I'm guilty of, and for the longest time I used to do that, and I probably still do, which doesn't make sense because I like food, so I want to taste it, but I'm always, if it's good, I'm muscling through it. But you want to break it down, you want to get it to its smallest form, and you want to get it into the stomach, because what's going to stop? If you're like swallowing chunks, right, the stomach acid has to burn harder, it produces gas, right, just like that middle school science experiment, high school, the little piece of meat in the hydrochloric acid, right, that gas has to go somewhere, and it's going to push the acid up in there, and it's also going to make people uncomfortable. So gas, bloating with digestion, chew your food. Greg wants you to turn the screens off. I don't know about that, but you could put the phone down.
Gonna put that
Right.
completely on me? No,
Yeah, well, you said it.
That's
I set the bar low. I said just chew first.
You told me I'm supposed to be Professor today.
Yeah,
and
yes,
I remember from
yes.
acupuncture
Well, I would
school-
like people to take that time to put your phone down at least. How about
Yeah.
that? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
lunchtime right now. Are you chewing? Probably not.
Yeah, but remember in acupuncture school they said that when you're eating, you're supposed to be, when in addition to the
Yeah.
deep chewing, you're supposed to be focused only on the eating,
Right.
because that's supposed to help the spleen or the digestion work better.
But it's being more mindful,
Yeah.
right? But also you can set the message to say, I have to chew.
Yeah.
And I try to chew through an email,
Mhm.
or chew through several emails, or catch up on your Instagram stories or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, something simple like that. And you would think, but it moves mountains. That one little thing helps patients almost immediately. Now, you're getting in the habit of that. But one thing you could do is make the process easier. So I always say you could blend, right? You could blend it, you can pulverize it, Blendtec blenders, Ninjas, getting the food broken down, cooking it longer like a soup or a stew where it leaches a lot of the nutrients out. So again, it's less work for you, it's softer because it boils longer. Definitely not exciting, but for people with really serious digestive issues, those two things can make a difference, right? Like you could do a savory smoothie if you want. I don't recommend juicing because you're missing a lot of like the fiber and stuff like that. But again, that's just something that you can do. But everybody's pushing protein, right? Everybody, what are you going to eat? Protein. Protein.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. We're not power lifters. We're not performance athletes. Yes, we need some protein. But if you follow the work of Dr. Brian Walter Longo and longevity diet, less protein, more plant-based stuff. Plant-based stuff always is going to be better. And it's easier to get down in there. But
I think you bring up a good point too. It's like so often we're thinking about macro and micro nutrients. We forget about one of the most intuitive parts of food is just like how heavy is it. I feel like we don't really think about it because some food is going to sit in your stomach for longer and it's going to give you that.
I'm picturing the delivery burger with the cold French fries, right? In the styrofoam box that's like wet and soggy, and just chewing to get through because lunch is over in a half hour, or an hour, whatever you get to take. But yeah, I mean, what you eat is definitely a conscious choice. But I think even let's take that. But you mentioned micronutrients. This is important. Why do we eat? Why do we eat? Because we have essential. This is where micronutrients I think is more important than the macronutrients. Is that vitamins, minerals, right? If you're immune sort of compromised, you probably want to get more C in there, stuff that's better for your immune system. If you're fatigued or chronic fatigue, you definitely want more iron. You want your B vitamins. Where that comes from, mostly animal products, whatever. But the fact is, the reason why we want the food to be pulverized by the time it hits, because once it gets through the stomach, you produce less acid, but you absorb more nutrients, right, for ultimate health. Because you're not eating for you, you're eating for the trillions upon trillions of cells that kind of make you perceive yourself as someone who wants to scarf that delicious burger.
And for those of you who don't know, that it's the small intestine is where the majority of other nutrients are going to be taken from your body taken into your body. And so the more you break it down before it gets to the stomach, the more it has to do the work, and then it's ready for the small intestine, as opposed to giving your small intestine more work to do, which we already know with a lot
Or
of
no
people.
work, it just slide right through,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that causes bowel disruption to some degree. But it's not, okay, so we talked about what to eat, everybody's focused on what to eat, but how you eat is really important too. And yes, taking that time out, not answering emails, taking, like, we used to say that in TCM, that lunch and food and eating should be like a meditation. Maybe even squeezing a small nap, I like that.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it too, like what we say here with the fertility stuff, it's a kind of oblique, but like cortisol, right?
Mhm.
If you're not taking the time to really sit and eat and like really like focus in and like just clear it out, that cortisol is still going to be running through you,
Yeah.
which is going to inhibit your digestive system. Especially if you're just going to wolf it down, go back to work. You never really gave your body a chance. What is it? Rest and digest, right?
Mhm.
Parasympathetic. If you never allowing yourself to go into parasympathetic when you eat,
Yeah.
like, especially because people don't sleep that well anyway, so.
Yeah, it's a product of modern society. It's
Yeah.
we're always in a. I remember when I was in acupuncture school, I used to bounce from the shipyard right to, remember nutrition class.
Yeah.
We had a nutrition class, and the teacher was always about, absorption and nutrients and what to eat. And I'd always come in with either, like, because it was a Nathan's or White Castle. And I used to get crap about it. And the more the teacher gave me crap about eating garbage, the more garbage I ate. And I would eat, and I would be out cold on my desk after I ate, right? Because number one, I don't think I was absorbing anything, and I don't think there was anything to absorb in that food to begin with. Granted, it was delicious, we love it, but it is important. You are what you eat. It's important, like food be thy medicine, well, all the things we talk about. But the very, very important aspect of getting it down to a digestible aspect involves slowing down and chewing, and that's a big one that we see. It's like the gas, bloating, and acid reflux.
Kind of related, did you have that in peak on the student disease? Like the
Student disease?
Yeah.
The
Like
only
with the
student,
stomach, like the spleen, like how like students.
we had everything. You had a
have
textbook,
weight.
right? In the student
No,
disease.
like students, like in Eastern, they used to say that like your digestion as a student will be terrible
Yeah.
because of all this in Chinese medicine, all the studying. Your spleen is going to be weak, so you're going to have more spleen symptoms that typically go away upon
Yeah, I'm
graduation.
sure. I think it was just the folly of youth. Like, I wanted to eat White Castle. I wanted to eat Nathan's, and I wanted to be seen eating it just to kind of aggravate the teacher or get a laugh out of the classroom. But you kind of sometimes have to learn the hard way that you can't keep eating like that.
Yeah.
There's better ways to eat. We talked about supplementation, and full disclosure, it is not a bad idea to take a multivitamin or focus on things that you're deficient on. But it definitely take some time and think about it. Think about what you're eating or how you're eating. I think blending is really good. There's a lot of great foods like cachavas or vega ones that are really kind of nutrient dense, right? That's a big one. Nutrient density, and then how is it getting absorbed? Are you kind of like getting that nutrients in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it actually kind of harkens back to what you were talking about last week with herbs versus the supplement, because the chewing always has to do with bioavailability, right? There's no point putting something in your body if you're not going to be able to take it. That's like putting money in your bank account that you can't spend. There's no point, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of times there are certain foods that if you don't chew them like completely properly, or even if you don't combine certain foods the right way.
Oh, you mean like the brown rices and the fiber stuff?
Yeah. And things of that nature. Like,
Well, you can't get too much of that. Speaking of like stomach,
brown rice?
like a lot of like constipation. If you're eating a lot of fiber,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
can kind of like become a giant ball of paper towels. That takes forever to come out.
Yeah.
Because everybody say fiber for constipation, fiber this, but you could get too much fiber.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Which more important, more reason for you to chew, right?
Right. So what would be the optimal? Like, I think a lot of nuts have everything. They have the oils, they have the fats, they have the nutrients, they have the micronutrients and the macronutrients. But guess what? That's a lot of chewing.
Yeah, that is. And what's your opinion on the whole, stop 5 minutes before you're full? You ever hear that? Like,
I couldn't tell you. I've never done that. I remember there was one person I used to talk to. He was of the Islamic faith, and he was saying that his prophet told him that he should fill his stomach with a third of water, a third of food, and a third of air. So that he could get through there. And I guess if you're talking about physics, if you want the stuff to get through the pipe, you got to vent it somehow. So maybe, but I don't know, I guess some people gotta learn the hard way, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that I've ever not eaten, but I think sometimes your body will tell you, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
enough,
Yeah.
or not. And you can listen to it, or not.
Yeah.
You know?
Any big, have you ever done any like prolonged fasting?
Yeah, I generally don't eat certain times during the day.
Oh, so you have like an intermittent
Yeah,
fasting?
Or, I'll wait till I go at night, or I would, the best I think I've ever felt was eating more in the morning and stopping afternoon, and then not eating the rest of the, like, eating a bigger breakfast, a heavier breakfast, and a lunch, and then not so much, in the evening time, because that's when you're least active, when it's the least requirement and demand for calories. And a lot of nutritionists will tell you breakfast is probably the most important. Yeah, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, but guess what? I don't always feel like eating first thing in the
No,
morning.
that's fair.
Unless you get the breakfast of champions, which is black coffee.
And, you know, I've always wondered, just like on a like anthropological note, it's like this three times a day thing is a relatively new, like a modern invention.
And I don't know that we need I mean, a lot of this stuff is really being pushed by special interests, like the 2,000 calories of, you know, grains and stuff is the FDA and their ass and underwear with like the corn growers. And you know what the most important meal of the day is for business, for like marketing? Breakfast, right? Because who's gonna think their way into breakfast every morning? That's why when you capture breakfast, you own it, right? So cereal is huge because people don't want to think for breakfast. They want to make it convenient. Who's gonna, like, I like a crunchy breakfast, but I like it around 10 o'clock, 10:30, more like a brunch. You know, I'm not gonna do over eggs, easy toast and ham and like first thing in the morning. That's a lot. Right? So that's why cereal wins. That's why Pop-Tart's winning, right? Because it's just like very simple. You don't have to think. There's very little preparation. And on a marketing level, they're the ones pushing, 2,000 calories of.
And not for nothing, Americans don't like typically like simple foods, right? Oatmeal is quick and simple, but who wants to look at the quicker oats guy every day? You know
You can put it in a rice cooker. I think rice is a really good one in the morning if you can think that far ahead and have it ready. It's got to be there for you waiting, and it requires a little forethought. You know, I can't wait 2 minutes. It seems like 5 minutes, but it's only 1 minute for the Nespresso to make a cup of coffee, and I'm sitting there, you know, counting the hours and trying to have it come out. But yeah, breakfast is the less thought required. That's why, you know, planning ahead. But that's why things like yogurt are great. That's why like blueberries in your yogurt are adding stuff to it. But again, you're always, that's a good one, right? You don't have to really chew yogurt.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's nutrient dense. All you got to do is maybe throw in some nuts and blueberries and God forbid some granola, but that's all sugar anyway.
I mean, you know, Greek yogurt, right? Like
Greek
that's,
yogurt.
That's
well,
a staple.
I actually like to have the products of both warrior cultures, so I do like my Icelandic skier.
Oh, of course. Which
is the Viking Raiders, but I also like to have my Greek hoplites in there because it's really more about, you know, intestinal flora and fauna, right? So you need those stuff for your maximum immunity and maximum health. So I really like skier. That's like, if I had to pick one thing that makes breakfast easy for me is like Icelandic provisions. The vanilla skier is like top, almost better than Greek yogurt.
Almost.
Yeah, because it is better because it's a little bit better. It's not as sour as Greek yogurt. But real Greek yogurt isn't sour.
Oh, really?
Because I think they put a ton of sugar in it.
Gotcha.
They don't tell you.
Gotcha. Which is last thing, it's like, 'cause I think people have their own notions of what healthy foods and not healthy foods, but I find that a lot of people, at least in my life, were surprised to find out that Chinese medicine is kind of different, right? Like, they don't really believe there aren't foods you shouldn't eat. They feel that every food you can eat at a certain time, like everything in moderation, including moderation, that like, they'll say like, you know, don't cut everything out, don't only eat meat, don't only eat vegetables, they'll be like, balance it out. Like, you know, don't kill, like, they say, I believe they said like, your diet should never feel like restrictive, right? You should eat with the season, it should feel like path of least resistance.
Right, well, that whole like elimination was popular with Atkins about not eating carbohydrates to put your body in ketosis, which really doesn't make a lot of sense. But if you think about it, breakfast is important because you need calories. And when do you need the calories? First thing in the morning. So lumberjack breakfast, you know, the pancakes and all that stuff. You need, if you're gonna be chopping wood all day, like, be practical, right? So if you're gonna be chopping wood, if you're gonna sit at a desk, you don't need a lumberjack breakfast, but you do need calories. So if you're thinking about starches aren't bad, carbs aren't bad, potatoes aren't bad, they're fucking delicious and they're good for you. But maybe that's better, like beans and stuff is in the morning. What do Mexicans eat beans all in the morning for breakfast, right? that starch, that's really good to give you like that gas to get
Yeah.
you through the end of the day. I don't know if you really want to eat pancakes at night. Some people do. That's why diners are open 24 hours. I don't know that you should, but I remember my grandparents at night, they never really ate heavy. They would eat a rusk and a tea, maybe a slice of cheese or something, but they were always like very less calories in the evening when you're winding down, which probably makes sense.
Because you can't sleep with a full stomach either, right? Stomach heat or
Yeah.
acid, that will cause acid reflux,
Yeah.
right? How many people, like, I know in my experience, I've had people have acid reflux and you find out they're eating like big meals, like, you know, an hour before bed. It's like, well, you know, you're not really giving your body a chance to rest because it's digesting. And
It's a
not
quality too,
Yeah.
right? If you're eating battery acid pizza sauce
Yeah.
for lunch with the cheese sliding off and the dough underdone, because
That's kind of-
it's, you know, Pizza Friday at the office, there's better quality stuff that you can eat,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I would say that quality makes a big difference because people are hell-bent on like gluten sensitivity, resistance, allergy. I would say reevaluate that with a better quality product. You know, if you have sensitivities to food, maybe eating less of it of a better quality and chewing it might yield the result than absolutely banning it out of your diet.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say, if people can afford it, try getting food imported from Europe. I find that a lot of people who have like the bread allergies and things like that, when they eat, go to
Make
Europe.
it yourself. How about
Eat
that?
better.
Burn the calories before you eat the bread.
Mhm.
Pound that loaf out.
Are you gonna provide a bread recipe for folks? Is there a famous Dr. Beys?
No, there's a famous patient who likes to drop off
Gotcha.
her sourdough
Gotcha.
breads,
Oh,
Michelle, yeah, so
are
we'll
you-
leave it up to her, because
Yeah.
she's got it down.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have are you a baker or is you more just
No.
that just-
I'm an eater,
what?
yeah, and,
No.
and I'm an outdoor rotisserist.
That's what it was.
That's
the
as far as
rotisserie.
it goes, yeah.
When's the next rotisserie holiday? Is that
Probably
Christmas?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, that's right. What is it? I forgot what do you do every year? No, but you do it like you just don't make a turkey. Like I remember there's like a
I put it on the rotisserie and I use the Simon and Garfunkel Scarborough Fair, parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme, inside and outside.
oh, okay. I heard it's undefeated, judging from what Luke told me. So
Yeah.
Alright,
We'll
hey,
have to do that at home cooking.
yeah.
We'll have to do that Gordon Ramsay style.
All right, so everybody at the Beys household will be chewing their food this Thanksgiving?
I don't know about that, but we'll ask you to chew your food and we'll ask you to tune in next week.
All right. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Chew on that.
Chew on that. What's a typical Haitian breakfast? Plantain,